Warning: the views and opinions expressed in this program are our own and/or those of our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our employers. Viewers' discretion is advised.
This is real game, and we're putting you on it.
When you get a chance to build up a pipeline of good business that's direct source, self-sourced, no third party, that's when you really start to win.
What are some common mistakes to avoid when reaching out to business owners?
This should be a paid episode.
This really should.
Promise I'm not being petty. I'm the one they envy, bro. They moving state to state. Make $1 million out to send me. Plus I grinded from the start. I was stacking pennies. I might dip like Machiavelli. After the confetti, who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who?
Let's go. Let's go. I'm starving. I got fish sticks in the air fryer. We got to keep rolling here.
Okay, you're 35 minutes late. 33 minutes late.
Those are probably
I'm just kidding. I'm on
Josephine's,
that.
too.
I'm getting back on that Brozempic, so don't even worry about it.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. Look out. I'm gonna look like Mario Lopez again. I used to always get mistaken for Mario Lopez, and now I get mistaken for Roseanne. But that's more of a personal aside.
You better look like Mario Lopez by CLBA.
Oh, for sure.
Not enough Ozempic in the world for that, but I'll try my best.
Just drink and don't eat and just take Ozempic. That's it. You got it.
I did that last time, and it wasn't good for my mental health. So maybe I'll stick with the Aquapana for a little while.
Alan, did you get the Aquapana yet? Did they deliver it?
I didn't go to that happy hour. I actually was meeting with a broker at Grand Cathedral. Bro, I got stuck behind a school bus for real, so.
No, I shipped so much Aquapana to your house today. Did it not come?
Oh, really? I don't know. If it's
Yeah.
outside, I didn't see it.
Amazon.
He just ran
Amazon
from the car
slipping.
right to this microphone.
I did. I'm coming in hot. We got a good one on our hands here. We got some great stuff, self-sourcing. It's my middle name, Emily from the top. Let's do it. My brother-in-law does not do life insurance. Thank you, Adam Bergen.
There's the intro right there. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the BDO Show, the #1 podcast in the nation for passionate BDOs wanting to level up their game with advice and stories from battle-tested BDOs. I'm your co-host, Emily, and I'm here with Chris Hackney and Alan Peterson, just the three musketeers today. Lots of air horn noise today. Before we get started, always want to remind you to hit the like, subscribe button, send over your topics and suggestions to the BDO Show at artofsba.com. BDOs. Have you ever had a borrower bring in like a brother-in-law to do their life insurance? Doesn't end well, does it? We've all been there. When you require life insurance on your SBA loan, it's critical that you bring in a company that specializes in getting these policies in place for the SBA loans. The last thing you want is for life insurance to be the holdup. We all know that's a rookie mistake. SBA Protection Quick Close Life Insurance is the fastest, easiest way to secure the insurance protection that your borrower needs for their SBA loan. Their process is simple, hassle-free, and only takes a few minutes of your borrower's time. No lengthy paperwork, no complicated forms. They even have programs that don't require labs or doctor records for approval. And best of all, you will have the collateral assignment back in less than 24 hours. It's a no-brainer. Go to sbaprotection.com for more information or email Adam Bergen at adam@sbaprotection.com. So today it's just us three, and we're going to deep dive into going direct and strategies for reaching out to business owners. So guys, why don't I go ahead and kick it off with Chris, and you can just sort of go over the importance of reaching out directly to business owners rather than intermediaries.
I think reaching out direct to business owners, you get a better buy-in and you build a better relationship. We talked about this on one of the prior episodes. Relationships are everything, especially when it comes to protecting your loan after it closes. Going direct to a borrower, you are the first point of contact rather than the borrower having to go through an intermediary, then the intermediary or referral partner coming to you. So it makes things go faster. There's a different level of rapport, different level of trust, better buy-in. So I'm always a fan if you can go direct to market, direct to borrower on a transaction. Referral partners are great. We couldn't do what the numbers that we do without them. But when you get a chance to build up a pipeline of good business that's direct source, self-sourced, no third party, that's when you really start to win.
That's awesome. What about you, Alan?
Yeah, I would agree 100%. I think there's something about building that relationship and giving that education, directly to the business owner or to the entrepreneur that's looking to buy a business. Perhaps it's someone like that. When you can kind of create that relationship up front rather than an intermediary making that intro, it's a much different experience. And it's one that, in my experience, has a much higher probability of execution and a better long term relationship, which is really what this is all about.
We've definitely, we've stressed the fact, pick up the phone, send a direct email, don't flood people with CCs and BCCs and all that crap. So my next question was going to be, I'll go right back to Alan. What can you give some advice to the new BDOs about key strategies for effectively reaching out to business owners, not annoying them, not, again, flooding nonsense? What are some real good pieces of advice to reaching out to business owners?
Well, thanks, Emily. I thought you'd never ask. This really reminds me
You
of
knew she would ask. We're on a
when
podcast. She
I didn't have
better
time to read it.
ask.
I was stuck behind a school bus. I didn't get to read the prompt. I didn't even know what we were talking about today.
Al
No,
Abundance.
now listen, man. Like all jokes aside, what I did personally that really worked well for me, and I'd share it with anybody. Here's some free game. You got to fish where the fish are. When I used to do some self-storage deals back when Wall Street Journal Prime was 3.25, and you could actually get home on some that would pencil.
Wasn't that
The
long
way
ago. Wasn't that long
Not
ago.
long ago. Shout out Shilling Birdsong. No, but I used to hang out in the trenches, in the high grass. I'd hang out in the weeds of Facebook groups for people who are interested in self-storage investing. And I would not pop
Oh.
out. I wouldn't pop out and say, "Hey, SBA lender." I would do this from my personal Facebook account. And I would say things like, "Did you know you could buy this with only 100 grand down?" When someone would talk about $1 million listing, they say, "Nah, man, how'd you do that?" SBA said, "Hey, listen, I'll send you a message." Something like that. You're not pitchy. You're not salesy. You're not annoying. You're just another person in a hyper niche Facebook group focused on one specific thing. And when I say fish where the fish are, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I had a lot of success doing that, quite honestly. I still have some tricks like that I utilize. Different social media platforms have groups. Get in there. And please don't get in there under a fake business profile, your Facebook for business, whatever. Nobody wants to see that. Use the same account that you use to brag that you ate a fancy dinner with your significant other. Use that Facebook account and just keep it real. And you'd be surprised how much more receptive people are when you take that approach, because nobody likes to be pitched. That's for sure.
No, they don't. What do you got? First key strategies, Chris?
Key strategies, fishing where the fish are. That's perfect. I did that in 2018 through 19. I was doing a lot of veterinary lending, and I would go to veterinary colleges and speak at their alumni gatherings. And I would talk about SBA loans. And so there are no other SBA lenders. There weren't even commercial lenders there. So I would get random calls after I gave a presentation. "Hey, I heard you speak last year. Now I want to buy my building. Do you still do that SBA stuff?" Or, "I want to build a building. Do you still do that SBA stuff?" So finding those markets where a lot of the types of borrowers that you want to focus on congregate in mass outside of a conference, that's a way to go direct to market for business owners. And also, a lot of times with us as lenders, the deals come to us and they already have a need for financing. We're never saying, "Hey, maybe you should finance." But if you're out at a happy hour, one of the things I used to do, I don't do it as much, obviously tell people what you do. If you know someone owns a business, oh, great, man, I do SBA financing, or hey, I do SBA financing. Whenever you're ready to buy your building, we can do it with 10% down or 100% financing. I don't know if you knew that. Or, hey, if you ever wanted to buy another daycare, you own a daycare, you ever wanted to buy another one, we could do it 100% finance and help you expand. And that light flickers off. Now, obviously, that's a longer sales cycle. You're going to have to build rapport and stay in touch with them. But you've just opened up a new idea for that borrower where you're bringing the idea of the loan to them to help them grow their business. Whereas usually it's, Alan, I have a need for financing already. You provide the loan. Where in this strategy, you are turning on the need to the borrower, turning them on to the need for capital to help them grow.
So you've planted a seed for sure.
You've planted that seed. And I think a lot of BDOs are used to kind of just let it come to me. I work with a bunch of referral sources. They're going to bring me the deals. But this is a way you can build a lot of repeat kind of business, kind of like an annuity, just having conversations in a Rolodex of borrowers, potential borrowers in the future that are going to remember that, hey, Alan said I could buy a building with 10% down whenever I'm ready, and I'm ready to buy this building that I rent. They're going to call you up, and then you don't have a referral fee to pay out on that deal as well. I don't know if we're talking about that right now, but a lot of commission plans are based, there's a reduction in your commission if you have to pay a referral fee to a third party. So if you can go direct to a business owner, that cuts out the intermediary and means more money in your pocket. But if you go direct to market, that could influence your compensation as well too.
Well, Chris, it's interesting though, that daycare example you used reminded me of something I saw on LinkedIn today. What was that? 3.5?
Yeah, just
no
a little
money
3.5
down
for the boys. No money down.
Oh,
I wasn't busy enough. Close a loan.
oh, I
I just
saw
needed
that.
to do a quick 10 million. I just had to, pop out and show, shout out to Kendrick. And I just wanted to do a quick 10 million and go back and hide it
Hey,
and do my
Alan
presidential
Peterson
stuff.
likes this. You saw the thumbs. I think I used the applause app or the applause reaction. Great job, Pres
I knew
Till
you really
Lens.
liked it.
Way to go. And I'll tell you what, when you go out direct to market, it doesn't matter if Sterling Birdsong's paying too. Shout out Sterling Birdsong. You know what I'm saying? You own that relationship from the beginning to the end. And I just wanted to give you some shout outs for that. Nice closing, by the way. I like to see you still in the trenches with us.
Yeah, still got to do it. Wait till I post this term sheet I just sent out. Go ahead, Emily.
Don't post a term sheet.
Even Emily knows that's whack.
That's
so
whack. What I was also going to say was, and let's be real serious, business owners know other business owners. So if you're reaching out, and people who own businesses always surround themselves with successful people. They want to keep going. They want more. So as soon as these guys get a drink in their hand, they go like, oh, I either sold a business or I bought a business. Odds are the people in the room are going to be other business owners. And now your name is out there and you did a good job and it's a positive impact, and the ripple effect of just a conversation like that will benefit you long term. And another thing I was going to say was something I've always lived by. So like, say you go out and get a really good dinner and you tell 10 people, maybe those 10 people will go. But if you go out and have a really bad dinner and you tell 10 people, 20, 30, 40, now 60 to 100 people know within a few days, because bad word travels faster than good word. So my next question that kind of led into that was, what are some common mistakes to avoid when reaching out to business owners, Alan?
Pitching. It's okay to ask for business once you've created rapport. You've demonstrated the ability to show value. You've, demonstrated your ability to execute in scenarios similar to theirs, what they might be going through. Hey, hope you don't got to go through that because Big Al's been through that kind of stuff, right? Once you get there, then ask for the business by all means. But there's nothing worse than is look at your own LinkedIn inbox. No, I'm not looking for franchise opportunities in Tampa Bay. Knock it off. You know what I mean? Just stop. And by the way, you can compliment me. You could throw a little applause reaction on my loan closing, butter me up a little, hit the inbox, maybe look me up in the Tampa Bay Business Journal. Oh, Alan, you were nominated, but didn't win. Do it the right way. When I see people going out to market too hot, too heavy, too quick, and those guys jump banks every year. Too real?
It's the first time I've been speechless on this show. What is this, episode 30 or what? Oh my gosh.
Alan was not
What
behind a school bus. He was at Ocean Prime.
I
He just got back from.
I'm on the water. I'm off the Crown Royal, which I think is why I'm on one. But that's a whole other. That's for my biopic that's coming out later.
Shout out to Aquapana sitting outside, just like getting.
I got to follow up with Amazon
stale.
because I did ship that to you.
Mine's not at my house yet.
I got you. I'll deliver it personally to Syracuse.
So, Chris, what kind of mistakes would you give as advice to new BDOs who are going to be trying to reach out or meeting some business owners on the road?
Not being direct with the benefit to the borrower or your value add. If you're just saying, I'm an SBA lender, I do SBA loans, like, okay, great.
What does that even mean?
But if you say, I'm an SBA lender, you've been renting this space for 7 years, there's a way you can buy this building with no money down, amortize over 25 years. It'd probably be the same as your rental or the leasehold payment. Now, it depends on rates and other things like that. Be very direct in the value you would provide by providing that loan opportunity to them. Don't make the borrower have to do a lot of thinking and guesswork into why they would need to pursue an SBA loan. Because again, when you're going direct to borrower, you're not only establishing the need for the loan first, which is something that we commonly don't have to do when it's referred to us by an intermediary. So if you're not being direct with what that need and benefit is, you're going to lose the borrower. They're going to think you're wasting your time, or you're going to plant a seed and they're going to remember it and then talk to their commercial bank or someone else because you weren't direct as far as how you could exactly and specifically help them.
What about, and I could be completely off base here, but so a lot of people, they try to walk into a bank locally and say, hey, I want to buy a business. Do they immediately go to brokers they've established relationships, or can a BDO walk into a bank and say, hey, here's my card, I do SBA lending if you had anybody come in? Or is that kind of an intermediary situation?
That would be tough because going to another bank and me dropping my card, I don't work for that bank. I don't think they would refer that to me. So, and that's another point. That's a great point you bring up, Emily. It really is use of proceeds dependent. I think it's a little bit harder to get business acquisition opportunities direct to borrowers because that means that business owner has to be thinking of expansion already, or someone sitting on the sidelines has to be thinking about buying a business. And that's still going to take a business broker who most likely has a referral network of lenders. I think direct to market is good for working capital loans, commercial real estate purchase loans, and then franchise lending. So I'm thinking someone that already owns a franchise, they want to grow their second or third. There's no reason they should have to use a referral partner or an intermediary for that. They should know the Allens, the Chris's, the Sterlings of the world, the Ryans that could help them with their second and third location. But I do think business acquisition, a little bit harder to get those direct because it's such a long sales cycle before you find the right opportunity.
You got to fish where the fish are even then, though. I mean, I would say that 85% of the business acquisitions that I've got done this year were self-sourced or I did not pay a broker, right? So what are those alignments? Yeah, not bad, right? I'll show you the Encino too. I'm not, anyway, it's that getting people that are interested in buying a business. Where do they congregate? Are they in Cody Sanchez's Instagram? They're commenting feverishly about the concept of they can own a business and never have to work hard a day in their life because they hate their boss. There might be some fish there. What about searchfunder.com? Are we going to pretend that's a secret? Searchfunder.com. Go check it out. There's people that are in the search fund space. They generally are people that are educated on business at large. Perhaps they've managed budgets or people, and they're looking to buy a business, but they need an SBA pre-qualification letter for a broker to take them seriously. So those are some kind of things that we've done. Walker Diebel's book, Buy Then Build, became kind of a very popular concept for a book. What I like to do in the same kind of way I used to chase the self-storage people around is there's niches and networks and groups of people right there. A place that I'm at where nobody's at, and anyone listening is free to join me, Reddit. There is action on Reddit. We're well aware by now of SMB Twitter, or we should be. I'm just rattling off all the stuff that I do that makes me money, and I want you to join me there. But the
so
Reddit
those are your resources. Those are
I share game because I really got it. And if you can't share it, then you don't got it. You know what I
That
mean?
Yeah.
abundance.
So
What are your resources, Chris?
What is the question? My resources for what?
What are your
For-
tools or resources that you can identify to like connect with business owners?
I mean, for me, it just depends on, like, when I was doing the veterinary lending, I would look at a bunch of different, like, it was kind of nerdy, but you can go to like alumni directories and just figure out who are the alumni in your state. And I would do that and just, okay, here are all the veterinarians in Florida and Tampa that went to Auburn University. And I would just, okay, Dr. Landers, hey, saw you went to Auburn. I spoke there 2 years ago, and that's like direct rapport. And so you can find a network in that manner.
Florida public record searches for licensed plumbers mixed with truepeoplesearch.com gives you a contact.
You're
Hi,
on fire.
I'm calling you about your business. I don't own a business. Well, why not? Why don't you give me a PFS and a management summary resume, and let's screw around for a while. Then I'll send you to a business broker with a listing, and guess who's going to think of next time? Good old Al. This is real game, and we're putting you on it.
This should be a paid episode.
This really should.
You're not worried about it, man.
Are we on Patreon? This should be a paid episode.
Patreon.
So basically, you guys are saying stop DMing the crap out of people on LinkedIn. It is not working. We get the wildest messages that you can tell were just robot created or AI over generated. Like, just be a person and do the hard work. Speak. Go to the internet. Go to your newspaper. Go buy a newspaper. You can do it. There's a lot of stuff out there that there's a lot of resources that people don't take seriously. So
and thinking about like Alan's Reddit comment, you go to those spaces where people aren't used to being, I would say pitched for lack of a better word, but being approached with SBA financing opportunities in that space. They're in that platform for a different reason. But when they're approached with that, it sticks out. But if you're on LinkedIn, you're so used to being pitched on loans, this, that, and the third, referrals, loans, buying a business, you tune that out. There's so much noise in LinkedIn.
And it's
about
within
that.
like the first sentence, you can tell. It's always so bad.
Right. But if you're in Reddit, though, which is not common to have a lot of SBA lenders in Reddit or another similar platform, and you see a message about SBA lending or pre-qualifying you for a business, that may stick out to you because that's not something you commonly see there. And what am I in? I'm in Reddit. Like, what? Let me read this, what Alan's saying here. And then even though it's the same exact message you might deliver on LinkedIn, but you're delivering it in a different platform in a like this similar way, they're going to pick that message up, read it, and probably respond in that platform just because they're not tuning it out.
I see a lot of people using reels now too, where they're just they turn their page public and then they start making these reels about some business knowledge or business education. Immediately it's just getting shared and shared and shared, and then the algorithm picks it up and it ends up in all over the country. And then you have people DMing you and they're like, I have questions. And now you are becoming the SME on the thing you just talked about, and you've got some random people who are like, let's chit chat. So I guess putting yourself out there too.
Yeah, and then resources too. Sometimes we just think with like high producer hat. If you're starting out and a couple working capital loans gets it done for you, a couple of $500,000, $300,000 working capital loans, go to your local like BNI, those types of breakfast meetings where there's 20 or 30 different people in the room talking about they sell insurance, they do this, they do that, and the third. That's a way to build a lot of referral sources for just small working capital pops, right? If you do 2 of those a month, $500,000, that's $1 million. That's a $12 million a year for you, right? That's a strategy you can use, and then you can build up your other book of business with BizAg, larger real estate loans. But to get going, that's a way where you walk in a room, you see 10 business owners, 7 or 8 are going to need working capital, maybe 2 or 3 want to buy a business. So you have a higher probability of getting a working capital loan when you walk into that type of room. So maybe you pivot, or maybe you start doing some smaller working capital loans to build up your book.
And think about the relationship as well. You're talking about doing 12 mil in nice working capital pops, right? Now you've got a relationship with all of those folks that you closed,
Right.
their friends,
Right.
their network. Be good
Right.
to them, treat them right, stay in touch with them. That's how that thing starts to kind of, get out. I mean, some of that advanced, stuff I was just talking about. If anybody starts doing that, by the way, at least let me know about it. Let me feel good about it. Hit me up on
Yeah, call in
Reddit.
on the
My name
show.
is SBA Advisor Allen on Reddit, or email the BDO Show at artofsbalending.com. That's right. That's
No, there's
the
no
BDO
lending at
Show.
Art of SBA. You
Whatever.
yell at me for messing up the email. You just messed.
That's why
There's
you do the
probably
intro, man. That's why you do the intro. I'm just here.
there's some random inbox out there that's collecting all these emails that never make it to our actual email.
Oh no, they
address.
make it to us. We had
Chris, like
we had a very
like me and you don't have that mailbox, or I guess we'll keep
Yeah.
that.
no. You guys can't be
Hey.
trusted with the mailbox.
Heyo.
I had a picture of Alan. Who was it? Alan Sterling and Austin DM'd. They emailed the BDO show at Art of SBA at 1 a.m. I'm like, I looked at the email the next day and it's just a
Playing
picture of
golf
them three.
We were at the library
at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, they were
Me,
at the
Sterling,
library
and Austin Porter. It sounds like we were doing that overnight study session
with
that we've been known to
their
do.
big selfies, just like, hey guys, and just hey, love the show, and I'm like, thanks. It was great. Okay, so let's say you've gotten some borrower, or you got some business owners, you haven't shoot them away with your nonsense. Now, how do we maintain and nurture relationships after you funded and you are like, all right, see you soon? What do you do? Follow up with emails, stop into the business? What kind of advice would you offer
All
there?
of the above. First of all, you have to be scientific, right? Don't just assume that if you don't put any sort of system in place, don't assume that you're going to randomly call Paul, who you closed a plumbing loan with 6 months ago, and it's going to pop into your mind, especially as you get busier.
Break your toilet and have him come over and fix it.
or there's that. But when you send an email out, if you use Outlook or any email out, they have those follow-up reminders. Send an email, put a follow-up reminder in 3 months, and then it'll pop up in your task for the day. You need to follow up with Paul, and that can be an email or a phone call. And then after the next 3 months, go see Paul. But you have to put some sort of system in place. Don't assume just because you close a loan, you're going to follow up. It's not like natural. It doesn't happen that way. So put a system in place for follow-up first and foremost.
There's accountability too, Chris, right? Would you agree? It's
right.
How can you gauge your success if you're not tracking your work? If you're just hoping for the best. Right. I got news for you. It's tricky, especially at the very beginning. But you look at another, Ryan Kroge, he knows people's anniversary dates and he keeps track of that stuff.
That's because he's 95.
He's not here to defend himself. So I will say the word Metro Detroit 3 times on this episode. But it's that, with Ryan, when he does that, that's a crazy thing to pop out and say, hey, happy anniversary. I'm like, well, this is interesting, this attention to detail. If those reminders that Chris mentioned in Outlook are huge, and I use them, and it really helps me keep track of my folks, because quite honestly, it gets really, really hard, man, especially after doing this for a little while.
And switch up the way that you follow up or what you follow up on. If you're just following up, hey, you ready for that loan now? You ready for that loan now? That doesn't seem natural or organic. Like, that seems a little creepy to be honest.
Are you?
But are you? Seriously, are you? Rates are dropping. But maybe send them an article if you see something that's related to their industry. Hey, I saw this is happening in the transportation. Just sharing this article with you. Real cool. Thought you'd like this. Alan, I think you used to do that or share that with some people. Or maybe it was me. Maybe I'm making that up.
I feel like a sneaky resource I just thought about would be like...
Sneaky link?
No. Sneaky resource.
That was before I logged on.
Be very close with your attorneys too that do your closings, because those guys surround themselves with a lot of other successful people as well. Oh, yeah. I feel like your attorney for sure.
Everybody in the transaction. Yeah. Everybody in the transaction is future business.
Oh, how about some successful experiences that you've done where you've done straight to business owners?
Straight to business owners. The veterinary space. Did a lot back in the day, meeting them at different trade shows. But one in particular, I gave a presentation at Auburn University, I'll never forget, like 2018. And this guy called me 3 years later. It was after the pandemic. I was out jogging at like 7 at night. And he calls me up, say, hey, you don't remember me, but you did a great job with this presentation. You're at Auburn, and I've got this large construction project, and I'm refinancing some debt on my commercial building. And my bank's telling me I got to do SBA, and I know you're the guy for SBA. So not only did he call me, his bank told him he needs to do SBA, which they did, but he remembered that I was the SBA guy. So he didn't do it with his bank. He did it with me. And I was like miles away from him too. So I thought that was very cool after 3 years. And I did not maintain contact because this was 2018. I met him. You have a pandemic in between. There's PPP. There's all this stuff. So I had lost contact. He remembered me and called me direct on my cell. I think he found like the power. He actually asked the school for the PowerPoint that I gave, got my contact from the PowerPoint. They dug it up and he just called me out of the blue. And that resulted in a large loan that we did for him. And with that too, another one I would give you, I'll give a shout out. Dr. Landers here in St. Pete, another vet deal. We actually beat out the #1 veterinary lender for this opportunity. But I had to stay in contact with him for we're still friends to this day. I actually liked him, which I like all my borrowers. But him and I, we would go shooting. We'd do random. He's like a pilot. He's just a very interesting guy. So we were hanging out for forever. And honestly, I forgot there was a loan opportunity to be had. We just built a true relationship. And then one day he's like, hey, I want to buy my building. It's $4 million. Can you help me out? This other bank, we're going to bleep him out, has a term sheet out on it. Said, if you can match it, it's yours. And we matched it and we got the deal done. So you never know when you're building relationships, what may come from those too. And just be organic with your connections.
Yeah. That authenticity. It's really everything, you know? I mean, I joke about don't be so pitchy, and I'm actually pretty serious about that, but I say it in a teasing kind of funny way. But I mean, I today, when I was running late, I was meeting with a broker who was the sell side rep on a loan that closed, that was so happy with the work I did from an individual who I self-sourced using some of those hiding in the deep grass on social media type techniques. And it's interesting too, because now, I had that organic side, and then now I have a referral partner that was happy with the way I worked and the way I picked up the phone, and now asked me if I could pre-qualify a couple businesses for them, which I told them after I'm done recording the #1 podcast on planet Earth for BDOs looking up to level up their game.
Is it the Earth now? It's reached the whole Earth.
The #1 in the galaxy, actually.
Oh.
No, but it felt good though. All jokes aside, that felt good. It's just interesting how it starts to snowball, and you just have to stay on top of it, and you have to put the work in, and you have to answer the phone.
100%. All right, let's do super quick parting advice for the new BDOs looking to reach out to business owners. Chris, will go with you, and then Alan, obviously.
Have a strategy for following up when you're doing direct outreach, because it's a longer sales cycle too. Make sure when you're out and about, tell people what you actually do and be direct with how you provide value with an SBA loan for their business or their potential business. Those are my 2 pieces of parting advice.
I'm going to piggyback that. Solve the problem. Solve the problem. Remain relevant, and you remain around. If you're just more noise in an inbox, you're not getting very far. My other advice would be to smash that like button and subscribe. Re-listen to this episode. We dropped a lot of free game, a lot of places that you can find some business that you might not be looking. And remember, be authentic and ask for the business, but not until you know what problem it is you're potentially solving.
100%.
That was great.
I would say we've had 20-something episodes. And if you're new to this show and you haven't seen any of the past ones that we started in the depths of winter back in January, the amount of free game in those episodes is also unmatched. The amount of education we've been able to spit out over the last, how many months have we been doing this now? 8-9 months?
It feels like at least 7 years.
I know it does feel like a long time, but I would go back and listen to some of these episodes as well, and maybe start from the front, work your way to this episode, and you'll start to hear some other things you can do as well that we've dropped in those episodes. Just hone in on the information that these guys are literally dropping for free for an hour straight once a week, and reach out to them, reach out to us, ask us questions, give us some topics. And if you have any success stories with reaching out to business owners directly, go ahead and send that over to the BDO Show at artofsba.com, or drop a selfie, whatever you want to do, I guess. Just send us some emails, and we'll see you next time.